International news, International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde has been nominated as the President of the European Central Bank, following which she announced her temporary relinquishing of her responsibilities as head of the IMF. The nomination means Lagarde will step down 2 years before the end of her second 5-year term at the helm of the IMF. Lagarde would succeed current ECB President Mario Draghi, whose term ends on the 31st of October. Meanwhile, the American economist David Lipton has been selected as the acting managing director of the International Monetary Fund. The IMF board announced on Tuesday that first deputy managing director David Lipton will serve as interim leader of the IMF, replacing Christine Lagarde. And European Union leaders have put forward their nominations for the bloc's top jobs, with a woman for the first time proposed as European Commission chief. German Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen has emerged as a possible compromise candidate to lead the European Commission as EU leaders struggle to break the deadlock over the bloc's top jobs after 3 days of talks. The surprise choice of the German Defense Minister to replace Jean-Claude Juncker came after the main frontrunners were rejected. In all, EU leaders were tasked with nominating 5 people for the top jobs. Belgian Liberal Prime Minister Charles Michel has been nominated to replace European Council President Donald Tusk, while Spain's Josep Borrell has been proposed as Foreign Policy Chief. The 5th key role, President of the European Parliament, is to be chosen today. Most of the roles must be ratified by Parliament. And 14 Russian seamen died in a fire on a deep-water research submersible, the latest in a string of disasters and accidents to hit the country's navy. The tragedy in the far north has echoes of the sinking of the Kursk submarine in 2000 that claimed the lives of 118 personnel and shook the first year of Vladimir Putin's presidency. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has called the loss of 14 naval officers in a submersible fire as a big loss, ordering a full investigation into what happened. And in Nigeria, at least 45 people lost their lives and more than 100 were injured in the central region when a petrol tanker crashed off the road and exploded as people gathered fuel. The truck overturned close to shops as it was traveling through the village of Ahumbe in Benue State on Monday. Local residents rushed to collect the leaking gasoline for over an hour before the fuel caught fire, causing a blast that tore through the surrounding area. And the UK High Court on Tuesday granted embattled liquor tycoon Vijay Mallya permission to appeal against the extradition order of a lower court to face alleged fraud and money laundering charges amounting to 9,000 crore rupees in India. A 2-member bench at the Royal Courts of Justice in London ruled that arguments can be reasonably made on some aspects of the prima facie case ruling by Chief Magistrate Emma Arbuthnot in her extradition order of December 2018, which was signed off by UK Home Secretary Sajid Javid earlier this year. The ruling was a reprieve for Mallya, who has lost a UK High Court leave to appeal on paper, leading to an oral hearing of his renewal application this week. Now that he has been granted permission to appeal, the case will proceed to a full hearing stage at the UK High Court. Mallya remains on bail on an extradition warrant executed by Scotland Yard in April 2017.